And speaking of that oak leaf, that could be picked out with some orc skin. Hi everybody, it's Ruddy at Glasgow Painting Studio. Welcome to today's painting guide. We're doing Napoleonic Austrian artillery. I'm going to paint the crew. These are 3D prints from Piano Wargames, and they've been primed with Wraithbone. I was sent these by a club in Glasgow that's raising money for the ACVC Veterans Charity by putting on a Battle of Leipzig in July. And I'll put some links in the description if you're interested in finding out how to take part or how to make a donation to the charity. I'm doing the jacket in Satchel Brown, which is a speed paint from the Army Painter. I have used a bit of medium to dilute this, so it's 3 drops of Satchel Brown and 1 drop of medium. I'm going to apply this to the jacket, avoiding the collar, the cuffs, and these little raised bits on the sculpt. I'll try and get my best to keep those straps in the Wraithbone colour. The next step for the coat is to give this a dry brush with Fur Brown from the Army Painter acrylic range, not a speed paint. Doing a second dry brush with some Ruddy Umber where the light would catch on the upper surfaces. I'm using Speedpaint Peachy Flesh to do the skin. One tip if you're using speed paints a lot is that you need a light base for your paints to go on. If there's been anywhere where you've overspilled with a bit of your paint, don't worry about it, just take a second to re-establish a light base coat. I've got some pale sand from Army Painter here, which does the job just fine. The facing colour is red, so I've got Speedpaint Poppy Red, and it's things like the collar, some of the piping on the jacket, including the edges of the shoulder straps. Turn back so you can see the front of them here, and the cuffs. A little dry brush with pure red can really make the facings pop. Speedpaint Grim Black provides the colour for the boots. It's also going to be the colour of the hat, including the chin strap and the top half of the plume. There's also a scabbard and a leather case. To highlight all this black, I've got a dry brush of some ash grey. I'm using dark wood for the handle of the portfire. The other area I can use this is his hair and his mustache. Maize yellow is next out of the pot, and it's got a couple of places to go on the plume. Might be a bit hard to see, but the very bottom of the plume is actually covered by an oak leaf. The other place for the maize yellow on the hat is the rosette, and there's a little pom-pom. And speaking of that oak leaf, that could be picked out with some orc skin. With pallid bone, I'm picking out cords hanging from the strap and also wrapped around the portfire. To shade the trousers, I'm using Howling Sand. I also use this for the cross straps. To highlight the white, I'm going to dry brush on some matte white. The last bit of work to do on the model is to take care of the metal parts. So glittering loot for the handle of the sword there and the buttons. And the pin on the hat. Tip of the scabbard. And I think that despite using speed paint and dry brushing, these simple techniques can be used to get a really nice result. I thought I'd show off 8 models making up 2 artillery crews. To the left of the picture there's 4 models in a firing pose. That includes the artilleryman we painted. And to the right there's 4 models in a loading pose. Once again, blown away by just how good these piano miniatures 3D sculpts are. They print up fantastically. I have worked on other models from the range which are cast in metal, and generally speaking they are really good clean casts as well. The anatomy on the models is particularly fantastic. Thanks to the Napoleonic Wargaming Club at the ACVC Hub in Glasgow for sending me these models to paint. Once again, I'd just like to shout out that they're putting on a Wargaming Day during the Battle of Leipzig to raise money for a veterans charity. There'll be a link in the description below so that you can find out more about it, and if you want to participate, they're still looking for players. Thanks to everybody that watches these videos. It's been really nice to see the viewing numbers going up and up and up, along with the number of subscribers. It really inspires me to keep going and making more painting guides. Big thanks to Patreon supporters, Koei and Nick, who are helping add a little bit of extra funding to the channel. It's very much appreciated. If you want to help show your support, there's some links in the description below. I'll be back in the next video with a guide to painting the artillery carriages to complete this Austrian artillery battery. Bye for now.